Namaste. I'm in the background going, Namaste. Welcome to the core and breath practice. I know some of you have been anticipating the practice and now the core and breath. Well, listen, the hips of this sovereign time, a lot of us are going through some really difficult shifts, I understand. So today, let's get right into the hips, right into the heart, and begin with a breath practice. So I invite you onto your mat. Make sure you have all of your yoga props, meaning your blocks, a strap, always handy. Have it on your mat. I don't know if we're going to use it or not, your bolster. And I'm using this blanket underneath me because I'm wearing all black, which I happen to match my mat. So I'd like you to see me. So let's do this. Let's sit down nice and comfortably in a virasana, meaning hero pose. What we do is you can use a block, or what you may do, I invite you to do this. I can only suggest, you do you. Okay, so for me, I'll turn my backside towards you. So what I like to do is take a block between my inner ankles and snuggle my inner ankles in and find my sitting bones on that block. Yet, what's happening here is that the block is just between my inner ankles, my feet. It's not at my calves or my ankles, or my the very base of my Achilles. So literally between my inner ankles. So when I sit down on that block, it's just touching my sitting bones, not my thigh bones. Okay, so Virasana is a wonderful posture to sit in to begin that digestive rest and digest, eliminating, releasing, and grounding. So I invite you to sit in that shape, and or you can sit directly between your ankles if you have that flexibility, but make sure your ankles are not sickling. Some of you may need to opt this one out and just sit cross-legged on a bolster. Please do you. Or even sit on two blocks. You're up higher so that your knees aren't being compromised in this particular position. Remember, the most important thing is to practice ahimsa. And thank you for your subscription. Let us get started in this wonderful practice of core and breath. Very important. It's not about speeding up things and pushing and shoving. It's about slowing down methodically, therapeutically, and being in your best shape, practicing ahimsa. Ahimsa. So sitting comfortably. Are you snuggled? Spine is nice and long. Tone the belly button in. Turn your palms up on your thighs for daytime practice, palms down for evening grounding practice, and just close your eyes down. Notice the breath in your body. We'll take a couple of minutes to do this. It's so important. The most important piece around your yoga practice, meaning being in life, is the breath. Without prana, vital force, we would cease to exist. So let's pay attention to the fullness of the breath, because for it washes out all disease in the body when we are able to breathe healthfully. I like to take my hands to my belly flesh to ensure that I am focusing down into the fullness of my lungs so that the diaphragm is activated and I can belly breathe more fully. So if your palms want to stay on your thighs, please do so, or on your belly flesh. So start to simply just draw more breath into the fullness of your lungs and notice how perhaps the diaphragm activates. If it's not, that's where the hands on the belly can help, because texture, feeling is very helpful. So we want to expand the belly like Buddha belly and contract the abdominals, the abdomen, the belly like a Barbie doll waist. You got it. Keep on going. A couple more rounds, actually several more rounds, like 7 more rounds. Keeping it simple. We underestimate how simply just belly breathing. There's all kinds of really high-tech pranayama breaths out there that people are really exploring. I think it's awesome. I'll be honest, the majority of human beings do not belly breathe organically every day. I think the best thing for you to do is slow it down and not jump the gun. You gotta walk through the forest and learn your way before you get lost. So stay with simple belly breathing. If you do venture into other pranayamas, please enjoy those as you sit here in your practice. The exhalation is so important that it's moving from the diaphragm, from the belly, to release those toxins, to release all the stale energy that gets stuck in there when we're not breathing in parasympathetic system, meaning rest and digest. So keep that belly active. 3 more. It doesn't have to be audible like mine. It could be any sound that you feel like you want to, chant. Shoulders stay back, heart stays lifted, neck is neutral. Good. Now let's bring your hands together in Anjali Mudra. Because this is a spiritual practice, it's not just a physical practice, it's spiritual. Let's chant Om 1 time. So with your hands at your heart center in Anjali Mudra, let's go right into it. Big Om. Take a deep breath in. Beautiful. Release your hands, blink your eyes open. Welcome to practice. Slowly lift your bum up, remove any props if you're seated on any, and come right into tabletop. You can place your blocks at the front of your mat. Once you start to stir around into your tabletop, make sure you dorsiflex your feet, meaning tuck your toes towards your knees, hands as wide as your yoga mat, and just give yourself a little cat-cow movement. The sensation of cat-cow is a spinal movement of every kind of way that you can wave your spine. The in-breath usually looks like a cow pose like this, where you lift your chin slightly and your heart sinks down and your shoulder blades come together. Think that the back of the skull meets the sitting bones, and then the exhalation is the opposite, forehead towards pubis. Really devoiding all the breath as much as you can, pausing and then in-breathing. I like to sway my hips while I do my cat-cow, and because I've been doing this for such a long time that my breath moves in accordance to how I'm moving, even when I'm talking. So a couple more cat-cows. Feeling the stimulation? Yeah. You can move your bum towards your heels. You do you. Keep your elbows straight though. And then let's start to still your cat-cow. Come up onto your left finger pads and strengthen the left leg, or lengthen the left leg straight back on the toe pads, just like that. And then lift that left leg up, square your hips, and then open up that hip. Square your hips, open up the hip. Square, meaning drop that left hip down, and then open it up. Good. Now bend the left knee as you open up that hip and draw it up towards your armpit, and then straight back, and then square your hip. Good. Let's do that 3 more times. Open up, draw it in, lengthen it back, square. 2 more. Lift up, draw in, slow it down. Be very cognizant of how you're really truly feeling. Last one. Boom. Keep it up. And then start to draw your left foot up towards your left pinky finger, and then land the big ball mound of your foot. Take that left foot and move it up towards the front of your mat. Slide both blocks inside your left foot. Come up onto your finger pads, and you can take your blocks at the lowest level. You decide what to do, and then reassess the back left knee, and then start to rock your hips back and forth. So in this position, my spine is long. I'm up on my finger pads. I marry the left knee to the left elbow pretty much when I bend it. So playing in this position, a couple more rounds, good. And then still it. And then slide the left and right elbow all the way down onto the blocks. Now, if you need to heighten your blocks to the second level, please do so. Make sure both elbows are equally divided on the blocks. In other words, pressure is equal. Some in studio practices, I see a lot of people struggling in this position, and there's no need for struggle. I'm just going to make sure I'm fully on my blanket. And what's happening is a lot of people aren't realizing that they're, I want to say the word, cheating themselves out of a full, optimal, authentic, sovereign practice, because they're not supporting themselves. If your elbow is not fused into the block equally with the left elbow, then you need to adjust. So this is the highest level of the blocks. Some of you are up on your hands doing this because your elbows will not touch the blocks. I completely understand. Be where you need to be. Some of you do not need the blocks, and both elbows are equally formed, are equally divided on the floor. So elbows, meaning palms are facing each other, the neck is long, and you're squeezing the left knee. It's actually touching my side armpit ribs. You decide where you're at on this one, because now it's just going to get a little bit trickier. Tone the belly button in with the right toes fused into the mat. You're going to pick up that right knee and then resist the floor, the blocks with your forearms, and lift your heart forward for 5, for 4, for 3, for 2, and then slowly lower that right knee down. Come up onto your finger pads, and then direct your hands up off the blocks so you're in a low lunge. Isometrically drag your feet towards each other, so you're not seeing movement, they're actually isometrically working. Take your right hand onto your right hip, left hand onto your left knee, and roll your shoulders back, and then elevate that right knee just a tiny bit. And then start to lift up a little bit more, and a little bit more, and a little bit more, but keep your torso right over your hips, and then lengthen that right leg without bowing forward. So find that, good. And then start to lower that right knee once again down. You can hold that, press that left hand against the left knee until that right knee touches the floor slowly. Woohoo! Both hands come back onto the blocks. You are married. Left shin to the left forearm elbow. And then once again, slide your forearms back down onto the blocks. Hug in as deeply as you can. Extend through the crown of the head so your neck stays neutral. I'm looking directly down between my forearms. Lengthen through the crown of the head. No matter what level your blocks or hands are at, your palms are facing each other like a karate chop. Pick up that right knee once again. And then this time you're going to hug your feet towards each other isometrically. And to your best ability, you're going to hover your forearms up off the mat as you engage your inner thighs for 5. So your palms still stay the same, looking at facing each other. 4. Lift and spread your left toes so you're not gripping with your left toes. 3. Neck is neutral. 2. And then slowly lower your forearms back down. Lower the right knee down so you're really flexing those toes. Come up onto your finger pads. Rise up. Tone the belly button in. Isometrically work your feet. So secure your feet. It's going to take some work. If you feel an urgency to stack both hands, please do. Or right hand is on your right hip. Enjoy the lift. So you're squeezing your inner thighs to lift up. And see if you lift straight up. The more you can fully extend that right leg without leaning forward, the more optimal, right? You gotta follow your optimal beat. I'm gonna keep my knee bent because that means I'm right on top of my hips with my spine. See that? Crescent lunge. So holding that posture, feeling what you're feeling, and then slowly lowering that right knee back down. Your hands do not have to be on your knee if you don't want it this time. Touch down with that right knee. Both arms come back down onto the blocks. Finger pads first. Hug the left knee in. Take your forearms back down. Squeeze everything. Hug your whole body. Give yourself a hug to the midline so that you can still breathe. Feel that energy no matter where you are. And then once again, you're going to, third time, last time, I promise nothing but last time, pick up that right knee. Engage your inner thighs. Lengthen the back of the neck. Lift and spread your left toes. Lift your hips a little higher. Then hover your forearms up off the mat as you hug that left thigh in towards you for 5, for 4, 3, 2. This time bring your hands together and then start to rise up as you bend that back right knee. And there you go, you're up. Feel what you need to feel in your crescent lunge. Move your arms around so your legs are isometrically working towards each other. Feel all that energy happening there. Tone that belly button in. Broaden the collarbone. Keep your neck neutral. And then say yes to life. You've got it. Exhale, release. Touch down on either side of the left foot. Lift your hips up, step back. Downward dog. Knees to the mat. Plant or flex your feet. Sit on your shins and breathe. So when I say breathe, we all breathe. But breathing healthfully. Healthfully. Good. Let's find that tabletop again. You can keep your blocks where they are. A little waddle, a little cat-cow. Movement is essential with breath. If you're moving without utilizing the movement of your fluidity of your in and out breath, then sometimes it causes, well, it does cause tension. So let's not do that. Good. Now steal that cat-cow. Extend your right leg straight back. Through the toe pads first. Resist the floor. Keep that neutral neck and spine. And then elevate that left leg. So you're squaring your hips. First squared. Then open up that hip. And then square, and then open up the hip. So your arms stay straight, your elbow creases are facing your index finger and thumb. Do that a couple more times. Tone the belly, open up. Good, now let's offer up a bent knee. So open up the hip, bend the knee, and bring that knee up towards your armpit. Oh yeah, and then straight back and square your hips. Let's do that again. Open up the hip, bend the knee, bring it towards your armpit, and then straight back again. Keep your neck neutral and the belly out. One more time. Open up. Knee, bring it all the way up, hold it there, and then start to kick up that left shin or right shin up towards your pinky finger. Oh, wait, move that bolster out of the way. And then let it land where it lands. Take that right foot and move it right up into the side of the block. Come up onto your finger pads. Both blocks are inside your right foot. Come up onto those finger pads inside the block. Marry, meaning join the right thigh or shin, knee, inner knee to the right elbow. Feel that energy and then rock it back and forth. Keep your spine nice and neutral. So if you need to come up higher on your block so that your spine is neutral, so it's not doing this, right? Keep the spine neutral, meaning long. Back and forth, oh yeah, good job. Now from here, still that, and then let's take the forearms down. So I happen to have at the lowest level. Some of you do not have both elbows equally pressing down, equal pressure. So that means you have to take your blocks up a little bit higher, meaning the second level. And some of you still aren't happy there, and the back is all rounded and you're struggling and you can't breathe. So come up onto the highest level. Make sure you're on your wooden blocks because they are most secure. And your palms are facing each other and you're hugging the right knee in. And then you can play in the back and forth and just noticing what you notice here. Yeah, very good. So no matter where you are, and if that's not happening today, you can come up onto the base knuckles of your fingers and be there, because now we're going to engage the feet towards each other and pick up that left knee as you square your hips. Okay, so just like that, and then keep that for 5, wherever you are, for 4, for 3, neck is neutral, for 2, wherever you are, squeezing that right knee in towards your right shoulder, and then slowly lowering that left knee. Shazam. Come up onto your finger pads and engage your inner thighs, root through the 4 points of both feet. Isometrically working, yeah, good. And then rise up, work those feet even more. Take your right hand onto your right thigh, left hand can come onto your left hip, and then from there, isometrically working your feet, pick up that left knee. You can extend it fully, make sure you're not extending forward in your spine. If you need to keep your knee bent to stay right here, then do, because if you're snapping that knee straight and you're doing one of those, like a knee-jerk reaction, then stay here for 5, for 4, belly button in, 3, 2, and then slowly lowering that left knee with control through the balls of the foot. Good, both hands back down onto your blocks. Figure out where you need to be in your height. Forearms come down, extend through the crown of the head, palms face each other. This therapeutics is really about strengthening your root chakras, meaning your standing stance. The more strength you have, the more agility, mobility, and flexion and flexibility you have. So once again, we're going to pick up that left knee, squeeze your inner thighs, so square your hips, extend through the crown of the head, and then, oh yeah, can you pick up that left knee? And this time we're going to hover the forearm, so you're hugging the right thigh into your right shoulder for 5, for 4, 3, 2, pretend you're holding an invisible ball between your hands. Lower the forearms, slowly lower the right knee, come up onto your finger pads, rise up, knit the belly button in, come up. Right hand can go on your right thigh, left hand can go on your left hip. You decide where you want to go, or no hands. And then once again, isometrically work those feet, tone the belly button in, and lift up, straight up, slowly. Where are you in this? Yeah. Good, now slowly lower that knee down. So you're playing on the back left toes. Keep your drishti, stare right ahead to the tip of the nose. Once that knee touches down, once again, 3rd time, come on down. You're the next contestant. So find this hugging in, this extended spine, picking up that left knee, engaging your inner thighs, and feel that. So your neck is neutral. Again, if you need to come up higher on your blocks, please do so. If you need to be up on your hands, keep your neck nice and long, because the next elevation is you hover your hands up off the blocks or your forearms up off the blocks as you hug that right thigh in. Square your hips. You got it. Oh yeah. And then this time you're going to rise all the way up, bring your hands together and come all the way up. Bending that back left knee will ensure that your torso is right over your hips, so you're not flinging forward, because that's flexion right here. That extension will, push yourself forward. So draw your feet towards each other. So you're hugging them in, so you're not slipping like you're doing the splits. Then when you're ready, what is the expression of your crescent lunge? Where do you wish to be in this expression of yourself? How do you feel the expression of you? Yeah. And then when you're ready to slowly lower that left knee, touch down on the both blocks. I'm going to remove the blocks to the side, and then this time you're just going to slide your right leg to join the left leg. Plant or flex your feet and sit on your shins and take a breather here through the pelvis. I love that part. Feel what you're feeling. Good. And then from there, once again, you could take your block between your ankles, Virasana pose. Allow yourself to sit in any comfortable seat. I'm just turning to face you forward. Breathe your breath. Tone the belly button in. Extend your arms out at the side. And we'll just play with the shoulders and the neck right now. So take a moment just to center yourself up. Turn your face towards the left shoulder. Left arm comes up. Grab a hold of that occipital, the back of your skull. Tuck your head down and wave your right arm around. Maybe even take that right hand to the back of the sacrum, out to the side, to your shoulder. It's that expression of right side neck opening, sitting up nice and tall for 5, for 4, for 3, 2, without tugging and pulling. And then slowly exhale and release. Wiggle your jaw, stick out your tongue. If you're seated cross-legged, switch out your shins. Okay, good stuff. Turn your face towards the right. Take your right arm up, grab the occipital, the occiput bone. Tuck your head down just as much as you can do it. My neck won't go very far today. I've had a month and a half of all kinds of throat chakra stuff coming out. As most of us during this, ascension, we're letting go of old paradigms. It takes some really surrendering to do that, letting go of old paradigms. So opening out through the left shoulder, that left side body, wave your left arm around as you wish for 5. Tuck your chin in towards the notch of your throat, keep the belly button in for 3. I skip 4, 2. And then inhale, bring your head back to center. Take your hands to your thighs, pause. Roll your shoulders. Good stuff. And then open up your palms to face forward like you're holding soup bowls, and then open them out to the side. Say yes. What are you saying yes to? Saying yes to loving yourself and saying yes to strengthening from the very root of your being, hugging yourself with just enough love that you can breathe and that you can ascend, letting go and surrendering. Inhale your arms up even higher. Say yes once again to living a life of surrendering, discernment, and love. Reach your arms up even higher, lift your heart, and saying yes to loving yourself. Exhale your hands to your heart center. Let us end this practice once again with the sound of Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Deep breath in. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. From my light to your light. Namaste. If you have any questions, email me. And remember, if you're pushing yourself or shoving yourself because I can't see you, I'm not responsible ever for you. You are responsible for you. So really live by the yamas, ahimsa. Do not harm yourself. Be responsible. Be completely responsible. Discipline yourself in loving yourself. Meet your needs. And no more pushing and shoving. Thank you. See you in the next episodes, perhaps of Restore and Breath, and meditate.